Hey, it's Central Valley Business. I'm your host, Steve Walling. My guest for the segment is Dave Emler with Lau'Lea Travels. Dave, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Glad
again.
to have you back.
Yep.
You know, all thing travel's always interesting. So, what's on the agenda for today?
Well, me and my wife just took a cruise to Alaska, and I wanted to give a shout out to all those who have that on their bucket list, which I'm given to understand is a lot of people.
Yeah,
you know?
and I hear that it is an absolutely wonderful cruise.
You know, that's the nice thing about Alaska. There are so many cruise lines that offer a wide range of different itineraries, shorter itineraries, longer itineraries.
There's a lot of stuff to see. There's a lot of wildlife. I mean, you know, it's like when you say never a dull moment.
Whales, bears, bald eagles, seals, just the whole gamut.
Yeah.
And it was a fantastic trip. Done it before. This was the first time in a couple of years that we've gone, and we actually did I'll give a shout out. We did the round trip, 12-day round trip out of Los Angeles on the Star Princess.
Oh, you actually started from L.A.
Started and came back to L.A.
Oh, awesome.
And it was an absolutely breathtaking trip, like I said. So,
did you get to see the glaciers while you were up there?
Yep. One of the stops is we'd get to cruise Glacier Bay National Park.
Oh, really?
With rangers on board, telling us everything that's going by and spending a good 6-7 hours just slowly cruising that area.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
Now, what ports do you hit up in Alaska?
This specific itinerary, we hit Ketchikan, Juneau, Skagway, and Victoria, BC, along with the cruising through Glacier Bay as well. Yeah. So there are other itineraries. You can hit Haines, Alaska. You can hit Icy Strait Point. And then obviously there are cruises that you can have end in Anchorage. And then from there you can do land trips all the way up into Talkeetna.
Really?
Yeah. So
and
it all just depends on what you want to do and how much time you want.
And I always thought, once you got north of Washington State, there was like nothing, right?
Oh no, we actually
a lot of stuff. Huh?
Our on this trip, our captain actually woke the entire ship up about 1:00 in the morning one evening because the northern lights were just going nuts, and he didn't want anybody to miss it. So
that's great.
So yeah, it was a fantastic trip, and there is still limited availability for many of the cruise lines for the rest of this season, and then obviously next season, the 2020 season is open for booking now.
What is the season for cruising up there, David?
The cruise season generally is very, very late April, early May into early to mid-September.
Yeah. So it's warmer.
Well, this cruise we took, we hit one of the first cruises of the season, so we were there in very early May. You can see from some of the pictures that we put up there. I was very bundled up. It was still very cold up there still. Now it's some of the areas it's hitting 90 degrees in some of the coastal cities.
So besides cruising Alaska, what else we got going on?
My current deal of the week, per se, is the Iberian Peninsula. There's a great deal going on right now. Spain-Portugal Escape. It's a 9-day tour. Overnights in Barcelona, Seville, Madrid, and Lisbon. Breakfast every day. Tours that include the Prado Museum and the Sagrada Familia Basilica, the church that was started in 1882, and they finally have a potential end date of construction.
Really?
2026.
Well,
maybe. We'll see.
Those unions, they always manage to...
and the cost on this trip, with airfare included from L.A. or San Francisco, is anywhere from $13.49 to $14.49 per person.
Wow,
that's total. Taxes, airfare, tour, hotels, meals, everything.
Cool. Okay, we're talking about seasonal cruising in Alaska. How about in going to the Iberian Peninsula?
This is considered the off season. The tours that are available, the dates that are available, it's November of this year through March of next year.
Okay.
That is considered the off season. Iberian Peninsula, the weather, the climate there, even throughout the winter, is still fairly mild. Temperatures 50s, 60s.
It's kind of like California. I mean, we're in that same.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So some of the interior areas, you may see some colder weather, but again,
Yeah.
you're not dealing with the summer tourist crowds either.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So
And in the tourism field, what is the direction that it's moving in like the next year or two? Do you think?
that's, every agency, mine included, has kind of their areas that they concentrate on.
Yeah.
So I am seeing an uptick in European travel.
European travel?
Over the last couple of years, I've had quite an uptick in that. And a lot of the travel is with organized tours. The typical tours kind of had a bad reputation for a long time because I don't want to be cattle called. I don't want to.
Right.
The tour companies have really listened to that criticism, and all of the tour operators that I work with, have really taken steps in putting in a lot more free time into their tours, so you can go and sit in a cafe on the corner and people watch if you want.
That's a great aspect, because people have thought that, gee, I'll just hop on a plane and I will go and experience whatever country they're going to go to.
Right.
And that's not necessarily a good way to go, is it?
No. I mean, let's take Italy, for example. Try going to the Colosseum on any typical day without going with an organized tour. It's like Disneyland.
Yeah.
The lines there are hours long just to get in, whereas if you are with an organized tour, you get priority access, you get a guide, and it's already all included in the cost that you've already paid.
And not only that, David, but you're directed or through the tour taken to places that if you weren't part of an organized tour, you wouldn't even necessarily know about.
Exactly. Exactly.
And so I've heard it recommended that if at least the first 10 times you're going to go to a country,
And the tour operators are almost always local, and they have a lot of that in-depth local knowledge. And during your free time, these same tour operators can really point you in the right direction to get you to that little hole-in-the-wall restaurant, family-owned hole-in-the-wall restaurant that maybe has the best food in the city, but that isn't necessarily known by the travel guides.
So Lau'Lea, which has a Hawaiian flavor.
I do specialize in Hawaii, yes. But
we can do the European thing too, right?
Yes. Oh, yes.
All right, that's cool. I'm going to ask you a question that I don't know. This is just off the top of my head.
Okay.
But let's say I come into your office and I'm thinking, I want to go wherever, and I'd like to maybe go here, and I'd like to do this, and maybe I'd like to do that, and maybe take a day and go over here. Can you help me put together that kind of a thing?
Oh, yeah. I can help you put together a completely self-done independent tour.
Right.
But
still hooked up with the local tour stuff.
Exactly. I have operators, suppliers that I work with that all they do is just those individual tours in different cities, and I can, we can get the transportation to the cities, between the cities, the hotels, the different tours that you want to go to. I can even arrange to have you eat meals in locals' homes.
Be still my heart.
Yes.
That's awesome, David.
Yep.
I guess you'd say that's a full-service tour agency, isn't it?
Exactly.
That's great. Well, listen, thanks for coming in and sharing that with us today.
Thank you for having me again.
Before we close out, anything you want to speak to the audience about today?
Just visit my website for more information, lauleatravels.com, or email me, dave@lauleatravels.com, or call the number on the screen there.
All right, David. Come on back. Keep us posted, as the seasons change, the tours that are up, the specials that are there. Hey, Lau'Lea Tours, one, like we were saying before, You don't want to go someplace that you're kind of on your own. Go with a tour group. But if you feel like you're a little more adventurous, Lau'Lea has the capability of planning out something that fits your special, individualized desire and itinerary. Doesn't get any better than that. Think about it. Travel with them, and I'll see you when we come back.